What is going on, everybody? Today we're going to be changing a tube on a Sony C-800g. Now to get started, grab some rubber gloves. You want to grab these anywhere you can find them really nowadays. I got mine from Home Depot. They work great. But yes, these are great for working with electrical components, is the best. We also have our tubes here. This is a 3-piece Russian tube set that I got from eBay. You can get it for around $12. Sony sells them for an upcharge of about $70 back in the day, but these work just fine. And I'll bring a link for you guys too in the description. Today we're also going to be using a screwdriver. Phillips flathead, works great. We will also be using some thermal paste. This is for the tube, but you can find this on eBay as well. I will bring a link in the description. We also have a JEWLER screwdriver. I've been trying to find the right name for this, but yes, I think it's a JEWLER screwdriver, and that's a Phillips too. Now to get started, we are going to be using our JEWLER for these 4 screws on the tube bay assembly. It is also wise to remember that these screws can easily get stripped, so be very slow. As we start to get it opened, you will see what it looks like underneath. And there goes the last screw. Now, the secret to this whole process is really being gentle. So, watch as I slowly prop this open. And voila. There it is. Now, in the following process, I would highly recommend being as slow as possible. So, to start, I would slowly but surely unscrew one side of your copper shield and just wait for it to come out, and voila, we have that. Wait for me to freaking get the screw. It's so tiny, but the bubble wrap is really necessary so you do not harm it. And then you want to start making your ways on the second side. And there we go. Now, keep in mind, this mic, I believe, is going to be out of stock currently. So I'm not sure if they even sell this copper shield anymore. So it is highly crucial. Just be slow while taking this off, because if you do not, it will tear. And trust me, it is just as fragile as a capsule. And there it goes. Just like that. It should be very simple for you guys, especially if you've been changing out your tubes, but look at this, man. Look how tiny that is. Look how thin that is. I've had this mic for about 4 years, I believe. And back in the day, that copper shield, I'm not even sure if it's still in stock, but it was $35, I believe. So if you mess that up, that's $35, so screw that. Now, this next part, while trying to take out this old tube here, is you want to be as slow as possible. My idea is propping it up to get more angle to pull it out. So you see how I'm propping it up a little bit, trying to wiggle it out of the socket, and slowly but surely it will prop right out. And you'll see that as I get it up, it comes right out. Now, once you get that old tube out, odds are your hands are gonna be covered in this thermal paste. So you wanna really get rid of all that stuff right there. This is one of the more important parts of this process, is making sure that you have some fresh thermal paste. I'm gonna leave a little because it hasn't been too long since I last swapped the tube, and I'm always looking for good tubes, but these tubes I'm about to put in here are really good. What was really important though is making sure that the old thermal paste does not touch the socket that I'm going to be showing you right here. This is where you want to make your contact with your tube. And if you could see, there's a 7-pin, and so are our tubes. So let's get started. Now, start with a little bit of thermal paste near the middle of the body. I don't know why I did it in such a weird fashion, but overall, once you sink the tube down, it will literally spread all over the tube, so it's okay. Now, here comes the fun part. This is really tricky, guys, but I had done this multiple times. I would possibly start from this angle and just look how easy I got it right in. That was so simple for me, but this part is so tricky. You really have to line up your socket with the socket assembly, otherwise it will get pushed into the back of the microphone, and then you have to unscrew all those frontal screws. There's like 4 of them. It becomes a nightmare, but if you get it right, there you go. Now you want to just clean up, because like I said, it's going to push out all that thermal paste, and just get it. It needs to be underneath, not on top. But there you go, and now we reverse order it. Now we have to start with our copper shield. Now placing it on the microphone and taking it off is a little different from itself, but practicing real slow moving is the whole process of putting this mic back together and taking it apart. So we just start with our first side screw. And really be slow. You really do not want to rush this process. It is so important. Now, once you got that, just repeat the same step for the other side. Here we go. And you're going to notice as you try this, it's going to be propped up a little bit, but that's a good sign that the copper shield's in good health, so that's good. And you want to just literally place your washer on this side. I lost my washer on the other side, but just want to screw that in really slowly, guys, just so you can keep the copper shield placed down and not rip anything. I have a phobia of ripping this copper shield because it's so tiny, but got it, and we're good. And now you just repeat the same process. Just start putting the head back on, grab your 4 screws, still practicing slow method, but we are nearly done with the microphone. And that's it. There you go. It's hard to believe that this microphone is $10,000, but if you treat it with respect, you will get the results you want. Now for the next part, we are going to be working on the power supply of this C-800g. I think it's personally pretty important to swap all the tubes out as a set. Normally people just jump the gun and only change out the tube and the mic. Change out all of them. You don't want to have any noise at all, right? So a lot of people say that, oh, like, it doesn't affect the signal, but if there are bad tubes in a power supply, odds are you're going to see noise. So I would just get a 3-pair set and replace them. This is a relatively easy part of this whole replacement process. The tubes, as you can see, are already right there. You don't really have to go through much trouble. All you really have to do is just prop the little antenna back, second one, and then slowly but surely wiggle out the first one. Then wiggle out the second one. And then make sure you clean your tubes before you put them in there. You don't want to have like any dust sitting on them. And then prop in your first tube. And then your second tube right into the 7-pin slot. Grab the antenna. Once you get your antenna on, seal up the box. Put your screws back in. And you are good to go.